What up?
Welcome to another episode. Here we are. Happy Thursday, going into the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I am loving my nails. My little my vampires. Blah blah blah. Look
Are
at my
you? Are
little
you? Oh yeah, they are vampires. You got to put like little, like the little bobbly eyes in between your
right. I have to
fingers,
put the little ring that sticks
the little
in.
bobbly eyes, and just come out. "Whoa."
Yeah.
So, welcome back to the show. It's Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, all I can say is thank you for watching us. Thank you for rocking with us. As you can see, the title we're going to talk about International Podcast Day. Lynn found out about that, so I'm going to let her school me, and I'm going to let her take the lead.
Yeah. So International Podcast Day is actually tomorrow.
Oh,
But we have a Thursday show. I was like, so it's really cool that we're going to be able to talk about it. And then our show, our, episode will already be live in the searches for people who are like just interested in learning more about that. And it's an opportunity for us to introduce ourselves because I expect a lot of like newcomers to come on today and see today's episode and interact with this video. Because podcasts have become a huge part of our day-to-day lives.
It is. And I like when you talk about international podcasts, the first thing I think about is like the podcasts are influential on me today. So one thing I keep harping is to stop watching the news, unplug from main media, because they're very opinionated, right? They're not really giving you the news anymore. So I was like, where else do I go? And I started watching podcasts, right? Watching it, listening to it. Most people, podcast started as an audio thing, but now it's a visual thing. It's definitely on YouTube. People are, doing the video and then putting the audio out with, like on Spotify and stuff like that. And one of the big ones that I could think of right off the rip is Joe Rogan, right? This guy is like the most influential, biggest podcast that there is out there. And when you think about this journey that we're on right now, trying to start our thing and get it growing, it's very inspirational to see somebody like Joe Rogan who's going against the narrative, that's going against, he's doing his own thing. And granted, he was just given like an $80 million deal with Spotify to move his podcast over there, but regardless, it's inspirational. It's inspirational that hopefully we can do something and make a difference on here,
Right.
So that's my thing. I was excited about that.
Sacred Heart. So they actually searched International Podcast Day and found the channel. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Sacred Heart. I hope that, listen, you're a first-time listener. I hope you like what you're hearing. I hope you like our energy, our vibe. We keep it positive on this show. I know we tend to have, controversial takes on today's topics, but we do it with love. We do it we do it with positivity. We're trying to come across as people who want to make change. Like there's a lot of negativity going on in this world, and we want to just bring that positivity so that way we could say, hey, look, let's be that counterculture we need right now. And let's squash all this negativity. Everybody's being, there's a division right now in the U.S., especially in the U.S. People are very, left to right. I don't want to hear all that noise. We're all people. We got to come together as a community.
Yeah.
So thank you. I hope we get another subscriber out of this. That's dope. I like it. Good job, Lynn. Good job. You nailed this one.
I'm like learning the algorithm. I'm learning.
Yeah, that's dope. You tapping into the matrix.
Yeah. So one of the podcasts that I thought about when I thought about International Podcast Day is the Life Coach School with Brooke Castillo. And it's really cool that I listened to her. I'm not really sure how I happened upon the podcast, but she's really aimed at teaching a certain mindset that I gravitated towards. But she her target audience
resonated with you.
Right, she did. Yeah. But her target audience is weight loss coaches. So it's not even something that, I'm following her because of that. But
it's
because
the mindset.
it resonates with me, right?
Yes,
because
it's the mindset.
Examples and just expressing herself in such a way that resonates with me. I'm hooked.
I know exactly what you're saying because I'm a big dude. And I'm always been battling with my weight, all my life. I go up be skinny, really skinny dude one day, and the next thing I blow up, and then I gotta lose it back. So I'm up and down with it. And one of the hardest things in life to do is lose weight. You gotta have that tenacity and that drive to want to do it. So it's like you really got to be strong in here. And so I see that's why she resonates with you, because it's building that strength of being strong in your mind and telling you, yes, you can do this. You know, you can
Yeah.
do this. So I exactly knew as soon as you said it, I was like, yep, I know what she's putting out there. That's dope. That's dope.
Yep.
So Sacred Heart said, I'm from Sweden. I don't know too much about the US. I know we got a lot of international listeners and followers, and they tend to like our message. And I like that. I like that because, you know, as Americans, we tend to not, this is one of our downfalls. We stay in America and we don't travel that much. So we don't really have a worldly view. So we only see things, you know, we're very myopic in the way we see things. We're like, oh, this is how, because it's here in the US, everything's like that in the world.
Right.
And so once we started kind of getting unplugged and seeing things in a different way, and we came out here and we started talking about it, we started seeing like other people all around the world had the same vision like we did. So that's you know, look, that's crazy motivating to see that. It's like, yo, we're on the right path, you know, we're on the right path. But thank you, Sacred Heart. Thank you for just those 2 comments. Thank you for providing some love, you know, saying you found us, you know, engaging with us. Because, you know, when you guys who are watching give us feedback, we know we're on the right path. And plus it helps us, you know, just have something to talk about. So thank you. I'm already happy today. Thursday, I'm already happy. Let's go.
So for everyone who is new to our channel, who's happening upon us, Ray and I are siblings. He's my big brother, my life bully.
Other way. You got to go the other way. You got to go the opposite direction.
On my screen, it looks like this.
No, because I'm on this side. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna trust you, okay? I'm gonna go with
there you go. Yeah, there you go.
But
pay attention.
we go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually late mornings, and we just vibe for 2 hours with whatever, you know, topic is either you know, in the headlines, or, you know, that you, our audience, brings to us. We give relationship advice. We give our perspectives on, I mean, everything you could think of. Anything, you know, you feel like you just want to talk about, just want to vent about, bring it to the show.
And the name of the show is Sibling Rivalry, which is a play on our names, you know, Lynn and Ray. So we added that into the title. But it's also, it's a mindset, because it's like, just because we're siblings doesn't mean that we should always agree. And I like to have the conversations with Lynn where we go in, where we actually have a dispute. We actually have that debate, because when you have that conversation, you have that debate, you can walk away from it. And you know, you might be angry. You're like, I don't understand what she was talking about. But then, like, you know, a few days later, you have that in your head and you start thinking, you can start seeing things in a different perspective. And I think that's what society is lacking nowadays, to have that open discourse. As we keep hearing over and over again, you know, there's a lot of censorship that's coming out of, you know, YouTube, Twitter, you know, the mainstream narrative is one-sided, all that stuff. And like, as a society, we've lost the ability to have open discourse and just to talk about, you know, whatever it may be, whatever topic of the day is. Like, we can't even talk about it and make an opinion and say, hey, this is my opinion. You know, let's why do we disagree? Let's figure it out, you know? And then that's how you go from being so opposite and polarizing to coming back in the middle and then say, all right, you know what, let's have a compromise. Let's agree to disagree. I don't agree with you, but, you know, we can compromise on these issues.
Right.
We don't do that anymore in society.
There's strength in conversation, and a lot of these topics, they're becoming taboo. You know, where you don't even feel comfortable talking about it with your own friends, because you know, your friends are going to become your enemies.
Yes, I've lost friends because they've seen where we just became polar opposite, and I hate that. I hate that, because these are people that we went through, you know, the trenches together, and I'm like, we're gonna let this be the thing that breaks us apart? I don't understand that, but it is what it is, and hopefully, you know, I have an open heart. I hope that they come back in, and I hope they come back in, and, you know, not so extreme. They come back in the, you know, in the middle, and we can be friends again. But it's heartbreaking. Yeah. But International Podcast Day. So what else are we supposed to do for this day? Is there, you know, they're trending, they're finding us, they're seeing us, they're rocking with us. What are we gonna talk about?
I just think it's kind of cool that you know, days like this are popping up, where it's you know, something that's internationally recognized, and it's not like a huge, you know, holiday, but it gives us a chance to, you know, come together and talk about things that we may not have, you know, had the chance to otherwise. I know they have like Grandparents' Day. Finally, I feel like that was one that was.
Yeah, they had everything. They have Kids
Should
Day,
have done that a while
Secretary
ago.
Day. Uh,
They have like the
they,
School Bus Driver Day now. But this one's awesome because it's international. That like blows my mind.
aren't they all international?
No, I don't think Bus Driver
You
Day
get
is
it. Listen, you're
international.
getting your mind is blown by the word international. There's the International House of Pancakes.
Thank you, Ray.
Is that like a really like? Is that a really like? Ooh, this place is fancy.
No. It's just the fact that it's more of the coming together, and the shrinking of the world through the internet, that really blows my mind. That the world is a lot smaller than
It is. It
we
is.
perceive it to be.
And with taking that, I know I kid with Lynn, but she's right. It's just being on here on the show. We're just two people on the internet just talking right now on YouTube, right? But the fact that we get comments from all over the world, it actually does make you feel like, man, we're connected.
Dude, and in other languages.
Yes, yes, that's
That's
the craziness is
crazy.
that we had, somebody typing in Japanese and then
Mhm.
somebody else translating, and the person who was translating was in Russia. So that's the
Right.
craziness about it. Like, yo, the guy translating is in Russia. Somebody's, in Japan typing out in Japanese, and I was like, yo, this is on our show right now.
Mhm.
It's like crazy, man. Like two kids from the Bronx on here just talking about whatever, and we have people commenting from all over the world. It's
Yeah.
awesome. However, since we are kind of a live talk show, I would consider. I mean, we're not really technically a podcast yet because we're not taking the audio and putting it on a podcast streaming service.
Mhm.
So officially, but we are some kind of live show. We've been consistent, and the thing I would say is, if anybody feels the calling and want to do this, I would definitely say now's the time to do it because if you're especially if you're feeling like the grievance out here, like you're feeling like I don't really have anybody to talk to, I don't agree with the current messages, I want to speak my mind, but I feel it's taboo. Don't feel that way. Get out here, talk about it. Don't go crazy, right? Don't go all the way into it because you're going to be labeled a conspiracy theorist and all that stuff. Sometimes I do that and then kind of reels me back in, and then we got to make the conversation logical. So make sure you're on that level, but do it. I'm gonna say, yeah, listen, just pick up your phone. Right now, I'm doing this off of my iPhone.
Mhm.
I'm doing this live right on my iPhone. I'm just sitting here talking, and this is what we got to do. We need more people like that to come out here and start just speaking their mind, speaking what they want to talk about. Let's have this discourse, let's have these conversations, and just be consistent with it. We're
Yeah.
still trying to
And
figure out the algorithm.
your vibe attracts your tribe, and you're gonna find the
Yes,
people who have similar messages or your messages
yes.
resonates with. So you'll find your tribe.
Yes. And the crazy thing about it is, when we started, I thought we were going to have like a bunch of trolls, right?
Mhm.
I was ready for the trolls. And to be honest with you, maybe we had one or two and we flipped them.
Mhm.
We started talking. They were like, I agree with your message. And they came and the last time the guy came on, he wasn't being a troll. He just came on and he just had a lot to say. He was
Yes.
venting. And I was like, yes, because that's what we want to do. So his comments was like, and I was like, oh, we couldn't go through it. And I felt bad because I really want to engage with all you guys because, you guys are the ones who are having the conversation with us. But it was, no, it's inspiring. It's very inspiring when you put this camera in front of you and you want to get started. And trust us, our first videos were horrible. We were just stuttering. We didn't know what to do with dead air. We were just like, oh my goodness. But as we kept doing it, you guys, the viewers, you guys kept us going. You kept us motivated with your comments. And it was like, a lot of people who started with us, they don't watch us anymore. That's fine. It's just the fact that at that moment, at that time, you supported us, you carried us, right?
Mhm.
So it's just like I love seeing the new name pop up in here and say, "Hey, we found you! I found you! Hey, this," and
Yeah.
it's like we're starting to trend now. Like we're starting to get more and more people are trickling in. Hey, I found you in search. I found you in search, and that's what we got to figure out. We just got to figure out the algorithm. But hopefully, we do.
Yeah. So today's show is just an appreciation show. Um, because like Ray is saying, it is you, our viewers, that keep us motivated and keep us like going at it. We're 70 episodes in since we restarted. I think recently Ray shared with me we hit a goal of posting 100 videos on the YouTube. I was like, what? 100 videos? That's crazy. Tadashi, welcome to the live. Hey.
His ears are ringing. That's why he was like, I gotta get on here. I know they're talking about me. We were talking about how you are in Russia, but you were translating for us Japanese. You are a translator. That was pretty dope. But thank you. Listen, Dashi's one of the ones, who has been listening to us for a minute. And every time he sees that notification pop up, it's like, yo, they're live. Let me go chill with them. And I totally appreciate that. Like I say, it's very humbling when you get on here and you just blah, 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 you're blabbing and people are just commenting and they come back and you see the same names coming back. And you're like, oh man, we must be onto something. Yeah. How do we do this? What do we do? How do we do this? So really the next thing is like, we just got to figure out the whole algorithm, which one's trying to figure out the matrix. She's going in, she's plugging in. But good. Yeah, we're going to keep this today. I know there's a lot of topics going on in the world. And I was talking to Lynn off air as far as like the stuff that we got to talk about on Tuesday. Like Tuesday is where I go in. Like I go in and we're going with the politics. We're going with everything. But today it's just we're going to keep it light because it's going into the weekend. And sometimes you just need that. You just need to unplug from all that noise, The noise is still going to be there. Watch, come Tuesday, I'm still going to have all the noise to talk about. But for today, let's unplug.
What movies are you looking forward to? Because I have one this week.
This week? I haven't even looked. I am looking forward to. Tell me. I have no movies I'm looking forward to.
So the kids and I always watch Hocus Pocus around the holiday time.
So you're ready for the sequel?
Yeah. Hocus Pocus 2 comes out tomorrow on Disney Plus.
Whew.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it? Because it's Disney.
You know what? The kids and I were watching Hocus Pocus like 2 nights ago, kind of like prepping for it. And in my mind, I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if like they took like this concept or, like their little like spells that they cast, like their jingles and stuff. It'd be cool if like they have like a bunch of those in the new movie kind of thing, like the similarities that I think they may have. But then I was looking at like the trailer and I was like, oh, this is, I don't know what they're doing with it.
they have the agenda.
We're going to see.
Do they have the agenda?
Yeah, well, you already see it with the cast themselves, like the way they cast different families in movies now.
Yes.
So I really couldn't tell the correlation between this family and the last family. I don't know if there was any, if there's going to be. So I really have to watch the movie to see.
Damn. And see, once again, these are like there's I really didn't ever, I've seen the movie Hocus Pocus, but I really didn't get into it. But I know there's a cult following. And listen, there's one thing, I love being a pop culture geek. I love going to like Comic-Cons. I love doing all that stuff because that's like you get to let your weirdo flag shine, right? You're like, I'm this weirdo, and then you see a bunch of other people that's like, yo, I like that. Yep. It's like that's dope, Like this week I've been sending messages back and forth to one of my close friends who's also, into pop culture. And I always told him, because every time I would go see a Thursday movie, I would always run into him. So I was like, yo, we should do movie reviews on Thursdays. And he was like, yo, straight up, I got the barbershop. Let's go do it. I was like, yo, that would be kind of cool, right? Barbershop reviews or something like that. But me and him, we've been going text messages back and forth because Ryan Reynolds just put out on his Twitter page. He was like, hey, trying to, keep you up on Deadpool 3. By the way, Wolverine's coming back. And the guy who's playing Wolverine, he's coming back after he said he was never going to do it again, right? So I was like, yo! So I'm losing my shit. And I sent him a message. He's losing his. Then they did another clip together where it was both of them, and they were trying to tell you like what's gonna happen in the movie, but then there was like an overlay of music, and I just lost I've been losing it. I've been like a fangirl, like, right? So I get it. I get the people who are like super excited for Hocus Pocus, right? Because this movie's been around for a minute. People love dressing like that. They watch it. It's as a ritual. They watch it every year on
Mhm.
Halloween or around Halloween. They dress up as the witches, and it has its fandom. And I feel like because of Disney and the way they've been driving that agenda lately, the message, um, I feel like they're gonna let you down. I really do. And it's sad
Oof.
because it's like this like you couldn't mess this up. There's a fandom. Like just
Right.
do look at what happened the first time and just do more of that. And people love it, right? But
Mhm.
they always do this. They did this with Star Wars. They're doing it with Marvel right now. And I don't know. I'm just saying be prepared.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to harp on it. I don't want to have you going in with you know what you should do? Temper your expectations.
Right.
Like your expectations are high because you're a fan. Bring it down just a bit, and if it's a badass movie, then hey, you'll be high. But
Mhm.
if it sucks, then you're like, hey, you know what? I tempered my expectations,
I
so
just
you won't
hope
be
that
so
I can get through
heartbroken.
the whole thing because I feel like the last 2 or 3 movies that I started, I was like, I'm not watching this.
Which is what? What are those 2 or 3 movies on Disney? Right on
It
Disney
was
Plus.
Thor.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't remember the other movie, but there was something else that I started watching. I was like, this isn't for me.
So you last episode you were like, I think it's because of you. So you think it's me because I got in your head, or do you think Disney is just going down the wrong path?
Mm, I definitely think Disney's going down the wrong path.
Hmm.
Like in my mind, Disney, and I said this when I was down in Orlando, there's something about Disney that's just magical.
Right.
And
And they're
because they're
losing that.
pushing, yes, because they're pushing so hard to kind of like become reality TV, they're losing the magic.
Yes. And not reality TV. They're pushing too hard this narrative and agenda, which you know what that is, right? Lynn? You
Well,
want to explain
yes,
it?
yes, but the
I'll
reason
let
why I
you
say
explain it because you
reality
do it in a better
TV
way.
is because, like that's what TV has become. It's everywhere you look. That's the message that is everywhere you look. So I say reality TV, not like,
But
oh yeah,
I don't
that's just
feel like
coming.
that's. But I don't feel like that's what's reality is, because I don't feel like the majority of people actually agree with this message. Like I
No,
think
but
we all
it's a
understand that families are
normalization because it's
different,
everywhere.
but we don't really have this conversation. Like I noticed most people are like, listen, I'm happy with how people are, what their sexual orientation is. I listen, love is love. Whoever, whatever you want to do, whoever, whatever. I don't really want it in my face because whatever happens in your bedroom happens in your bedroom. Even with
Mhm.
like heterosexual people, keep that shit in your bedroom, right? So it's like most people are just like, I don't want to know about it. They say, hey, when I go to my day-to-day lives, I barely deal with it. I mean, every once in a while, somebody comes around and I'm like, oh, okay, they're that, and whatever, you keep it moving. This is how most people think. But
Mhm.
it's like companies like Disney that keeps putting it in your face. Then they
Right.
also do this whole, this is strong, the push of like girl power and the whole thing. There's a rule now when you're writing TV shows that you have to have a scene where there's two females in the scene and they I forgot what it's called. It's a something rule where they both have to be on screen and it has to be a certain amount of time where they're not being berated or something by a man. It's
Mhm.
always about a man. And then there's the rule like a woman can't lose to a man. A woman can't be taught by a man. A woman can't like that's like so like crazy. And I'm like,
What?
really? Like if women are so like empowered, why do you gotta have so much rules? And it's only for women. I'm like, I don't understand it. And this is all with writing. So you see these
Okay.
things in the movies and the shows, and Disney is definitely doing this. And it's sad because they have a lot of IPs. They got a lot of IPs. So you have the Disney classics, right?
Wait, what do you mean IP? What's IP?
IPs is intellectual properties.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they have the classic Disney. Then they
Hmm.
have Pixar, right? So they have all those Pixar movies that we grew up with, Cars,
Toy
Toy Story, right?
Story. Hmm.
Then they have when they bought Fox, they got the Simpsons, right? So they even
Hmm.
have the Simpsons now that they can influence with. Which
I did not know that.
remember,
Okay.
Simpsons been around for a minute; they're iconic, right?
Hmm.
Then they went and bought Star Wars, and then they have Marvel. So they first started with Star Wars, like they butchered Star Wars. Anybody who's a fan of Star Wars was like, "This is garbage. This is trash. It's not Star
Hmm.
Wars. You lost the magic in it." Now they're doing it with the next phase in Marvel. So after was it Infinity Wars or Endgame? After Endgame, when it was all closing, it was like everybody was applauding. The next phase just went right into that message, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're slowly going into The Simpsons. They're slowly bleeding into, you know, the classic Disney movies with all their remakes. And I guarantee they're gonna start doing it in Pixar too. And
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. Like you see all this stuff, and I don't mind the subtlety of it. It's the on your nose hitting you on the head with a hammer. And it's like, stop. You're diverting the story, you know, the
In order to include these
right.
things.
And the
Yeah.
story is lacking. And then when I go
Mm-hmm.
through, I'm bored as all hell. Which that's the thing. Like the last Buzz Lightyear movie, what was it, Lightyear? That
Oh,
movie
was
was
it that
boring
one
as
that
all
I
hell.
started that I didn't
It was boring. You probably
watch?
started it and stopped
It might
watching
have
it
been
because it
that
was
one.
boring. So like you just knowing, like me, I'm really critical with it because
Mm-hmm.
like I love movies and TV shows, and so when things start getting boring, I'm like, why is it boring? And then this is the reason why. So I'm really critical about it. You,
Okay.
on the other hand, you're a casual watcher, and you're already saying, you know, Thor: Love and Thunder. You started watching it,
Mm-hmm.
you fell off. You know, Lightyear. You started watching it, you fell off. These are Marvel and Pixar movies that
Yeah.
back, you know, maybe 10 years ago, these would be blockbuster hits.
Right. And that's the thing for me too. I'm expecting them to, you know, like captivate me and like still give me that same experience, and they're not.
Mm-hmm. So it's
I mean,
crazy.
like
It's
for example, like Encanto. That's a
yes,
beautifully made movie. I
beautiful,
love that movie.
beautiful, and it has the message in that one. And there were some times where I rolled my eyes because it was a little on the nose, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still a beautiful movie. I watched that with my boys. I took my boys to go see that. I have all sons, right? And we went to the movie theaters, and because it's, you know, Latino music, me and my boys, we were dancing in the movie theaters,
Mm-hmm.
right? We enjoy that movie, and every so often we'll just pop it on and we'll start watching the songs and stuff like that. It was definitely, you know, minority pushed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was part of the message, minorities, right? Hispanics. And it was definitely female push. Because remember, there wasn't a patriarch in that family. There was a matriarch, yes? It was the grandmother. And they definitely pushed it. Now it was a little on the nose with that one song with what's the one girl who was like she's really strong.
Yeah.
And it was kind of on the nose because it kind of almost made her as like she was a
Drip, drip,
trans.
drip, and you never stop.
Right. And they
Whoa.
and they and they made it seem like she was trans and she was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I got to do all this stuff." And I was like, "Ugh." But it was just so little that it didn't really take away from the overall package. And so the overall package, I could still watch it and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it and still say like, "Listen, this is how you do diversity right." Other things that they're doing, and they're just like too much. It's too much. It's too much. You're losing the writing. You're losing the magic. And the
Right.
magic of Disney was always in the writing. And like you always say, it was always in the music too.
Mm-hmm.
So like when Disney actually took the time, so to me the most important time for Disney's like history was in the 90s. When they had back-to-back animations and each
Yeah.
one of those animations were blockbusters.
Yeah. The Lion King, 101
Yes.
Dalmatians, all the classics. They all came out back to back.
The Little Mermaid, Aladdin,
Mm-hmm.
uh was it Pocahontas? I'm not a big fan of Pocahontas, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, remember the song, right? Just
Right.
around the river bend. Everybody knows that song, right? Mulan, like all these cartoons were very inspirational, and they were still had the message in it. If you look at it, they were still diverse,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't pushing that. That wasn't the agenda. You know what was the agenda? That hero's journey, that story from
Right.
beginning to end to make it magical. And that's what they're losing. Because look at Aladdin. Aladdin was filmed in the Middle East, right?
Mm-hmm.
Diverse cast, right? Pocahontas, Native American, right? Told that story of Native Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which other one? Mulan. Like all these were
Mulan was
diverse
Asian.
movies,
Mhm.
and they were all female leads. So you could do Disney has done the agenda correctly. It's like, what are you losing today? You're focusing too much on it. You're forgetting about the imagination. You're
Right.
forgetting about the writing. You're forgetting about the story. Bring me on that journey, you know, and let's have fun with it with the music and the jokes. Because I love watching Aladdin. Why? Because of the genie, man. Robin Williams killed that role,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now you go see the Aladdin movie and they're just focusing on Jasmine. And to me, Jasmine wasn't the most important part of that movie. It was the dynamic between friendship of, you know, Aladdin and the genie.
Mm-hmm.
That was the way the heart was, right? Because he was like, he made the promise of, hey, my last wish, I'm gonna
I'm gonna
set you
set you
free.
free. Yeah.
That was the movie. It wasn't about Jasmine. But if you watch the remake, it's all about Jasmine. They even add an extra song for Jasmine and her struggle as the princess. It's like,
And that
come on.
bothers you so much.
No, it bothers me because I know the classic. That I don't see.
Right.
Once again, you make it
No,
seem
no,
like
no. It was the
you
face
say
you made.
that
I'm making fun of the face you made.
because I like to criticize my
You're
movies.
passionate.
But what people are gonna see, but then they'll take my passion and they'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he's just being what's the word I'm looking for? Chauvinistic, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
just a man complaining about it because a woman's having her comeuppance in the movie. But I'm like, you had that comeuppance years ago.
Right.
Why kill the story? Why kill the story? I don't understand it. And it's the same thing like we talked about, Ariel, where they're making her black. And it's like everybody's applauding it when they made her black. It was like, oh, representation. But then I'm like, what about representation for redheads?
Right.
Oh, they stay quiet. Crickets. And I was like, if you truly
No,
want
I don't
representation,
like this as a representation. This isn't the right move. Like I've said it in past episodes too, Disney, they should have kept it, cast someone who looks like Ariel and add new characters. If you want to add new characters to your same movies, or if you want to, create new movies, Disney,
create a new story.
do.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, listen, if me being Hispanic, I wouldn't want sloppy seconds. I don't want leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a character that's recasted. I don't want Ariel to be Hispanic because I want a new character.
Mm-hmm.
I want a whole new
Exactly.
story of my culture. And you gave that to me in Encanto,
Mm-hmm.
right? The one time they took what was the first black princess, right? It was a big deal, right? It was the
Tiana, Princess and
Tiana, correct. Now you're undermining that by changing Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Me personally, I would be irate with that. It's like, why you give me sloppy seconds? Like, give me new characters. Have the balls and the courage to put out a story of new characters because you know that there's African tales out there.
Mm-hmm.
Put a new story, make a new African princess, and then have the balls to put some imagination behind it and be that Disney magic.
Right.
And make people love it. Make people love the music. Make people love everything because you did that with Encanto.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still do it, Disney.
Yeah.
I
But you know
challenge you.
what? Even with
I
their
challenge you.
their Frozen movies, they still know how to bring that
The magic,
Disney
yes.
cinematic magic. It's just some of the things that they're choosing to do. They're leaning too far into what our society is trying to
Yes.
become.
And I'll tell you how magical Disney is, and it's the music. Like you say, the music caused some kind of emotion in you.
Yeah.
Because I remember when my kids, especially my middle child, when he was like little, when Frozen came out, he was like, maybe like 5 years old. But he would be singing, "Let it go, let it," with some heart and passion. I was like, all right, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I kept playing that song over and over for him.
Mm-hmm.
And there was never anything, with me was like, no, that's for girls, that's for boys. No, none of that shit.
Right.
Because there was something magical about it. And it's even not just magical, almost inspirational. Like you used to see Disney stuff and you would be inspired by it. Like, yeah, man, we could do something. But now it's not. It's not inspiring.
Right.
Now it's just aggravating. It's aggravating because I know that they put so much effort into that. I feel like when they go to the drawing boards and they're like, hey, we're making our next movie. Let's get ideas. I know that that's the number one ideas that they start thinking about. Diversity. Let's do this, let's do inclusiveness, all this stuff. They put all those words on there and they forget imagination and story.
Right.
And unfortunately, when I say things like that, me being a dude, right, they're going to be like, oh, you're sexist. Oh, you're misogynist. Oh, you're racist. All that stuff. And then you let go of all I'm asking for. It's just, let me get the feels in here. That's it. Let me get the feels. Sorry, I hijacked it again. See, once again, we're supposed to keep lighthearted. We're supposed to keep it light. So anyway, going back to Hocus Pocus. Enjoy. So when are you going to watch it? Are you going to make a big deal about it? You're going to do like a little Hocus Pocus
Yeah,
party?
we're not going to do a Hocus. Well, now that you're saying it out loud, I didn't think about doing a Hocus Pocus party, but I definitely want to. We're going to have popcorn, and we're going to cuddle up on the couch, and it's a big thing in the house.
Good. Mm-hmm. Good. No, I have no movies. I should take a look and see. You know what happened with the movies is that lately, a lot of these movies have been turning around. Like they'll air,
Hmm.
um, like they'll be releasing the movies, and then at the same time they'll have it on video on demand. So once it goes video on demand, I can find it on the set, on the high seas.
Right.
So I'm like, why take the drive out to the movie theater when I could just watch it here?
Yeah.
Make some popcorn, and bam, I'm watching the latest movie. So I've been doing that recently. And so I kind of fell off of going to the movie theaters, which is crazy because I'm still being charged, my AMC pass, right? So
Right.
I'm still being charged that. So I'm like, shit, I need to go to the movies. I missed it. I gotta go. You know what's crazy during the whole Rona and all that? When the movies were open, I was still going
Right.
because I was like, I'm not giving up my passion. I was like, I don't care. I'll die for this.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't. Well, I could be wrong, but there weren't many people there, were there?
No, no. And sometimes at one point they actually did close down, and so a lot of the movies went straight to video on demand. But
Hmm.
once it was crazy because it was at a time where they opened up, then they closed back down, then they opened up, then they closed back down. I remember every time they opened up, I was right there.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't care because I'm gonna live my life. And say,
Right.
and this is what I don't understand about people who are so fearful. It's like you forget to live. And so I was
Hmm.
like, listen, I'm still scared of all this that's going on, but I'm gonna go live. And this is one of my passions. This is one of my favorite pastimes is movies. So I kept going. So I'm actually surprised I haven't been going for a minute. So I gotta go.
No, I firmly believe that like if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. So
Exactly.
you can't allow that fear of passing, which should be
Yeah.
embraced. Hello, it's a part of life, but
Oh, it's
you can't allow that
speaking.
fear of passing to keep you from, living your life. That's
Yeah,
true.
speaking of passing, I want to take just a moment. Yo, Coolio passed away last night.
Coolio? I
Yeah, man.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he was 59.
Hmm.
The story is TMZ broke it that he was found in the bathroom.
Hmm.
Probably some heart issue or something like that. So I don't know. As the story comes out, we'll see what it was. But man, I started thinking about Coolio. I was like, yo, Gangsta Paradise, man.
Yeah.
Damn. I know he had some other songs, but really he was like a one-hit wonder with that. No, he did some other stuff though. I know he was like on TV shows and stuff like that, and like he always popped up. I was like, oh shit, it's Coolio, but just Gangsta Paradise. I remember that shit.
Wow.
Every time that song goes on the radio, it's like I know all the words and everything. It's crazy. So
Been
man,
spending most our lives living in a gangster's
Gangsta
paradise.
Paradise. Yeah, man.
Woo!
Shout out to Coolio, bro. Sad, bro.
Wow.
And then, man, like I was watching another movie the other day. I was watching Breaking, right?
Mhm.
And the one guy on there, I was like, oh shit, he passed away. And I had to look it up. So the movie was filmed, and that was
Mhm.
like one of his last movies, and it almost came out like 2 years after he passed away. I
Wow.
was like, man, that's crazy. So that's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking watching. Like every once in a while, I gotta watch a Robin Williams movie. I think
Mhm.
that was the one celebrity that when he passed, I was like, what? And then when you found out, like he hung himself, I was like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
was devastated. So, yeah, it's like, hey, listen, you gotta live your life to the fullest, man.
Mhm.
Gotta live your life to the
You
fullest
have
because
to
if you
accept each
don't,
day's a blessing. You have to
yeah,
recognize that.
because if you don't live your life to the fullest, then that's where you get into this trap of like depression, anxiety, and all that stuff. Like I feel
Mhm.
people who are still wearing their masks to this day, they just have anxiety. I
Yeah.
was like, because they're scared to live. Like, live your life, man. Don't live life scared.
Yeah,
You know?
I was visiting with Ma earlier and she was talking about, her friend Miriam, who's always like she's like really terrified of COVID. So
Mm.
she's down in Florida right now. She went to her brother's house for like a
And the
month.
hurricane. Yo, shout out to
Yeah.
Floridians. If you're
Yeah,
watching from
rest.
Florida, please stay safe. Prayers
Hmm.
with you. I hope you guys get through the hurricane. With no destructions, no nothing.
Yeah.
Reach out to your loved ones at this time, everybody, because you never know. Hurricane's bad. I was just messaging everybody last night. You guys okay? You guys okay?
Hmm.
Thoughts and prayers for everybody out there. I don't watch any of that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what was devastating was Katrina, man. That and the one that hit Puerto
Hmm.
Rico too. Like all those things at the aftermath, man. It breaks my heart seeing all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, man,
Puerto Rico just got hit hard again.
yes, Cuba did. Cuba lost all their power and everything. And what the story I heard was it was high winds and power outages left and right in
Hmm.
Florida. But like it's devastating hearing that stuff. And of course, they want to make it all political. It's like, oh, global warming. Like, bro, this hurricane's been happening for a minute. You know what's crazy? That this whole global warming like talk has been happening since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's movies. Like the other day I started watching Soylent Green, and this movie I think came out in 1975, and it was talking about the same thing, like overpopulation,
Mm-hmm.
global crisis, and this is 1975. And I was like, bro, shit hasn't changed. It's like the same agenda, same topics, just so they
Mm-hmm.
can do what they want. It's freaking crazy. At that point, I just started laughing. I was like, oh my God. And it's
Holy.
funny because Soylent Green took like it was supposed to take place in 2022. It was
Mm-hmm.
like in 2022. It was like massive population. Like this guy was trying to. It was in the city, New York City, right? And in the one scene, he's coming out of an apartment, right? And he's trying to like come down the stairs, and there's just bodies all laid out on the stairs, just people everywhere because of overpopulation. So it's like
Okay.
it's so bad that there's literally people sleeping in like stairwell, hallways and stuff like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
he's like trying to step over people, and I was like, oh my goodness, like they've been talking about the same things for over what 50, 60 years now. This is freaking
Wow.
crazy. At that point, I just
Crazy. The
started chuckling.
70s was 50 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny too because like I got to this point of time where I'm anchored into, right? Like I'm anchored to the 90s. And when I think about the 70s, I'm like, oh, that's only like 20 years ago. And then you can do the math and it's like, no, it's been 20 years since.
Right.
It's been 30 years since. 1990. That was 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
32 years ago, 1990. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's like, man. Oh, man. Making myself feel old now.
In 1990, I was still wearing diapers.
Yes, you were. Oh, Lynn, I owe you a massive apology.
Oh, sounds about right. What's that?
I almost murdered your ass.
Holy crap! Why were you gonna take me
out? So today, with my youngest, he's having a little sister here soon. Mm-hmm. And so we're talking about being, the big brother and, because that's kind of similar to me. And, I was like, listen, I was super excited when my sister came around. I was like, I was about your age, like around, 8. He's 10 though. Well, he's going to be 10 in December. And, I was around 8 years old. And I was so excited that there was times where she would be sleeping, you as a baby sleeping in your crib. And I would go because, I just wanted to, pick you up and play with you and change you and, be the big brother. So there would be times where I would just pinch your nose as you're sleeping. And I'm thinking about it. I was like, holy shit. I was like, you could have died from that. I was like, I'd pinch your nose because I would pinch your nose and then you would go, and like you would like, and then start crying and wake up and I'm like, oh, she's crying. I got her. And then, stuff like that. And I was like, yo, this is the shit I'm scared for now as an adult. Sleep apnea, right? Where you can't breathe and you're like, wake up and shit. And this is what I literally could have killed you.
Holy crap.
Like you hear like cats, cats just sitting on a baby's head and the baby's suffocating. I was like, man, I could have suffocate your ass. So I figured I owe you a massive apology for that. It wasn't ill intent that I was trying to murder you or anything. I wasn't like jealous that you were here.
Kids. Holy crap. That's
so I told my son, I was like, don't do that. Don't do that.
When you're older, you're going to look back on these days. You're going to be like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. So I was like, it just dawned on me because I'm telling the story and I'm telling it in a loving way. Like, oh, yeah, I used to do this so that she could wake up and I could play with her and all of that because I was excited for my little sister. And then I thought about it. I was like, holy shit, I could have killed her. Like, it's just a light bulb just dawned on me. I could have killed her 30 years later. So I owe you a massive apology for almost murdering you. So, live your life to the fullest because you almost died as a baby. Okay? Due to your brother's own hands.
All right.
Hold up. What's the time frame for like crimes and shit? Like, what's the time gap? Is 30 years good? Yeah, 30 years good for attempted murder. Am I going away now? For
the next episode, you're going to be in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, confessing live on YouTube. And I'm going for attempted murder now. Because listen, even though Lynn may not want to press charges, some states, they just run with it. They're
Yeah,
like,
they
you
do.
confessed to I was 8 years old, all right? Come on. You confessed?
I mean, technically, by now you would have been let out, and you would have had your second chance because you were too
I
young
hope
to be
so.
tried as an adult.
Yeah, I would have been in juvie. Come on.
Yeah, until you were 21, and then you would have been off scot free.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. Just thinking about that story. Yeah, literally, I was just pinching your nose. I was just like, all right. And then, and I'll pick her up. And she woke up. Because mom wasn't there. So I was sneaking to the room and I'll be like, all right. Oh, she's crying. She's crying. I got to take care of her.
That reminds me of Little. Oh my gosh. He's definitely the kind of kid that would just purposely
Do
wake up
something
the
like
baby
that just so they
to
have
pick
the
her up.
baby. Yeah. Oh, I'm taking care of the baby. We got to take care of the baby.
Mhm.
And I think mom never, I don't know if mom knew about that. If she ever caught on that I was doing that just so I could wake your ass up. It's like, she's sleeping too long. What's she doing? I need her crying and wanting attention so I can take care of her. Now, you take care of yourself. You grown. You make your own mistakes. And I'll laugh at you. Oh, man. All right, so we're at the top of that hour. You have anything else you want to talk about there? Reintroduce the show. International Podcast Day. Do you want to go back on that?
International
What's
Podcast
other?
Day
Yeah,
2022.
what's other influential podcasts that you like to listen to?
I also listen to the Gold Digger podcast.
Yo,
And that one's all about just, fearlessly chasing your goals.
I was gonna say that there's some really dope ass podcasts for like stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think there's one where I listened to the Marvel ones, the Wolverine ones. Those were really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started listening to those to the point where it would be a long drive and I'll play it, and my youngest got into it, and so he started wanting to listen to it. So that we were every time we were driving, instead of listening to music, we would put that on. So we listened to when we did our trip in April to the Outer Banks. I believe it was like 8 hours. It was like an 8 hour drive, and each day we would go, he would remind me, Daddy, the podcast. And I was like, all right, buddy, all right. So we put it on, and he was just listening to it, which is hilarious because his two older brothers would be knocked out, sleeping, and he's just listening to it, like really into the story. I was like, all right, cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool. So
the kids and I listen to 6 Minutes. And it's really not the best for, binge listening because each episode is roughly 6 minutes. So then you have to worry about the outro and then the intro every 6 minutes. But it's actually a really good podcast. There are a few stories that are aimed at children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to have, that experience in the car, like you said. And the kids do remind me. They're like, oh, can we put on 6 minutes? There was one, Mars Patel. Something Mars Patel. I feel like I should have had a list of like all my podcasts now. Damn.
There was a good mystery one that I remember. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like some guy down south where he messaged this reporter. The reporter went down there to talk with him, and it was like this really like conspiracy theory, real deep down mystery. I think the guy down south ended up getting killed, or he ended up dying, or something like that. But it was really like a really good podcast. I really got pulled into it. Somebody told me about it, and then I started watching it. So it's a big one. I guarantee if you do top 10, it's probably still in the top 10s.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a really good story. Like I get intrigued by and this one was like based off of real life too. Like I started Googling some of the stuff from the podcast, and like sure enough, stuff was popping up, and I was like, oh shit. I think it was a murder mystery kind of deal. Kind of like, remember when Netflix had the Making of a Murderer?
Yes.
And everybody got bigged on that. It was kind of like similar like that, but in a podcast form. And so I remember listening to it, and I was like, oh shit. And so then I started Googling it, and I really got into it. I love watching something where I get caught up in that whole like rabbit hole of it. Like if it's like based on a true story, and you start doing the research, you start doing the search, and you're doing all that stuff. So it's like, it's cool. I like it. Gets you like it hooks you in. But as far as like other podcasts, I like for the most part, I listen to talk podcasts where it's like people talking about like their political beliefs or just everything that's going on. One that I definitely watch, and I would say it's inspiration for me is Tim Cast. He does it every night. I don't watch it every night, but every other night maybe I'll throw it in. And that to me, like he's at prime time. So he's from 8 to like 10. He's just doing the news, going through, he has guests and all that. And he gets more views than like CNN, all the mainstream like media news channels. So, very influenced by him. I think every night he gets between like 30,000 or 50,000 like concurrent views, like people actually live watching them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that's pretty cool. And yeah, it's a video, so he's on YouTube. I believe now he's on Rumble. And then I believe you can find his audio on like Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So he's everywhere. And he's trending. Like his clips, you'll see it on tweets and stuff like that. It's really cool because I see his tweets when somebody's like trying to use common sense and they'll post a tweet, but then of course he's been labeled alt-right and all that. But as far as like other podcasts, are people who've been influential, like I said, Joe Rogan, very influential. Those are the only ones I really know. Is there anybody you listen
story
to?
Ones. Because I didn't really say what 6 minutes was, but 6 minutes is it's more about like kids and like they're being chased by the child catchers. So they have like this huge organization with like lots of money that's like trying to come after them. And then the other one's the unexplainable disappearance of Mars Patel. And this one, like the kid disappears. Everybody's like, what the hell happened?
So it's like a mystery.
Figure out. Yes. But it also has like a futuristic spin on it, something about like outer space. So that's kind of cool. And then there's a third one. I pulled them up. It's Becoming Mother Nature. And Becoming Mother Nature follows, a young teenager who she's coming into these like powers, being able to control the weather.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So she's just kind of like going
she's like
through,
a mutant.
Yeah, basically,
That's cool.
Yeah.
I would like that one too. Yeah, and I noticed like a lot of these podcasts, when they start getting popularity, like they're starting to turn them into TV shows. They're starting to turn them into movies. I know there was one that we were watching that I started listening to as a podcast, and then I heard there was a show, so then I started watching with mine. I think you got caught up that one day when we were watching it, and like you had to go, and then you were like 6 episodes in, and you're still like, I gotta go. What was that? Was it Dr. Death?
It was you?
No, it wasn't you. I think it was Dr. Death, or it was like the guy who no. It was a podcast where he faked his identity and he was with the woman, and like he acted like he had all this money and stuff like that. And she was like, oh my God, I'm falling in love with him. And then she wanted to marry him. And I think they ended up getting married, but he didn't have any of that stuff.
Right.
And then she found out or something, but then they were already married. So it was like, yeah, it was crazy. It's like each episode, it was like, I want to watch another one.
You is another one that started as a podcast, and then it was on Netflix. Now Netflix has like 3 seasons. Yeah,
they actually announced a new one. And then I think that guy, the actor, I think he blew up. I think he's gonna go in, like he's starting in something. Somebody told me that he was gonna be in like I think a Marvel movie or something like that.
That's awesome.
But you was pretty cool. I like you.
It was.
Like I could see how it was a podcast because it really hooks you in. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So it's basically a guy who seems perfect on the outside, but then you get to know him, and it's like, holy crap!
Like a serial killer, yeah.
What?
Psycho serial killer, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to see all these like podcasts started as audio, and then they actually go and they make it into TV show or movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So, like I said, listen, podcast is very influential. If you want to get started in podcasting, the Anchor app, right? That's the app that we were looking into.
Yeah, we were.
It does everything. You use Anchor. You could do it on your phone. It does the audio where it records you, and it even does where you can do a live read for our advertisement, and then you can incorporate that into your podcast. So, yeah, listen. There's so many tools out here to be creative and be, a part of all this. So just go put yourself out there. Take the risk. Get that self-doubt out of your head and just get out there and start building up, your tribe, like Vanola says, right?
Yeah.
What's your mantra? What's your saying? You said earlier.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah. So just, get out of your way, because that's the biggest things. We always tend to get in our way.
We're our toughest
self-doubt. Yep. Just get out of your way, be consistent, and use the tools that are out here. Anchor is free, and you can just start talking And if you're creative, make a murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that TV show? Was it Murders in the Building? It's on Hulu. It's
No.
actually good. The kids like watching it with me because it's like we're getting into this whole like murder mystery kind of vibe. So we like my youngest, he likes to do like watch whodunits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still lurking.
Hey,
That's motivating. Thank you, Sacred. Thank you. That lets us know somebody can watch us and still want to vibe with us an hour into the show. Thank you. So my youngest, he likes to figure out the whodunits. And I keep telling the story how I took him to go see Knives Out and he figured out he solved it. And I was like, nah, it can't be that person. And then sure enough, it was that person, right? And so like he likes watching we saw Murder on the Oriental Express. He wants to see the sequel where they're on the boat. We got to watch that. And now that we're going into the fall and the winter, he said he wants to do an escape room. He wants to do the murder mystery dinner.
Okay.
And then there's a train that goes by us where you could be on the train and do a murder mystery too. So I had that all planned. I got to figure out the schedules and do all that because those are things, he wants to do.
That one sounds cool. Let me know about that one on the train.
Yeah. So he, when I started watching, Murderers in the Building, which is ironically, that's what it is. It's like there's a murder that happens in an apartment building and they're trying to figure it out. And then they make it into a podcast. So it's kind of meta in the whole sense that they in the show, they're making it into a podcast. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. It starts, who does it start with? I forgot who stars in it. I won't butcher names. But anyway, I'm putting it out there. It's on Hulu. I enjoyed watching it. I think they're going to have season 3. So they had season 1, season 2, season 3. The murderer is in a different location at this point. They were like, we can't do the same 2 murderers in the same building. I know Tina Fey's in it. She was in season 2, this last season. And she's like their competition because she had her podcast out first. So she's the competition to their podcast. So, yeah. But yeah, no, if you're looking for a good comedy, a good whodunit, I give that one a thumbs up.
I sent you the link to a murder mystery dinner that's coming up.
Yeah, but you said it's only for adults.
Yeah, I was reading it and it says like, oh, like please 18 or older or something like that. I think I'm gonna contact the venue. Because like we've taken our children to their shows before.
Okay.
So I want to know what the heck is
up. Because I think it was because it
was going to be at a castle.
Yeah, because it was because of you that you were talking about it, that you took the kids and the kids had so much fun and my kids heard about it. So they're like, we want to do that.
Right.
So I think like now they want to do that too. And so it's like, it's great because like I started taking them to the library so they could start reading, improve their readings. And so I'm kind of like hinting at, my youngest, I was like, hey, if you really like whodunits, you can start reading books like the Hardy Boys because they go through mysteries and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But he was always like that. Like he used to love Scooby-Doo. I never understood Scooby-Doo. I know you love Scooby-Doo. I was more of a Flintstone guy myself.
Oh, I loved Scooby-Doo, man. That's like my favorite childhood cartoon.
Yeah, I know. He's just like you. He loves Scooby-Doo. I could never. So
funny. The other day, I was just randomly like, those freaking clickbait things. Like the clickbait that got me the other day was like, children whose crimes were so heinous they had to be tried as adults.
Really?
No.
Really? Well, wasn't that the Menendez brothers, right? Weren't they like underage and they tried them as adults because they killed their parents?
Their parents for the money.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yo, this is why I keep telling you fellas, listen, when you're dating, act like you're broke. And when you have kids, act like you're broke. Don't let nobody know you got this money. They're coming for you. They got them guns out.
No, kids are crazy. There are so many stories, and that's crazy to me too. It wasn't like 3 or 4 stories. Like, no, like it kept going. I was like, why am I still reading this?
Man, you could tell I love my son because I'm so fucking gullible because I'm like teaching him how to get away with who, right? Like he likes whodunits. I'm like, let's watch more. So I'm teaching him how to get away with it. I'm literally raising my murderer. No, my boys are beautiful. I love my boys. But if he knows how to get away with it, listen, Lynn, remember this episode. You'll be
Right.
like,
Right.
there's something shady. And you listen, you can make a great podcast out of it. That's a good horror movie. Rich parents hiding from the spoiled kids. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be scared of that. Like, yo, you raised them. These were kids that you raised them and they're still trying. Yo, because didn't the Menendez brothers kill their mom and dad?
Mom and dad with like a hatchet or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it
would
was
be a
two
good horror
boys,
movie.
right? It was two brothers. They were like 10
two
and
twin
12.
brothers. I think they were twin brothers or something like that, and they ended up killing their. Yeah, we gotta look it up. We should pull up the story because we're gonna butcher it. But yeah, that's. I agree with Sacred Heart, man. That would make a great freaking horror movie. I would watch that. That's probably why we don't know the story because the movie hasn't come out yet. Oh man, that's crazy. From spoiled kids. That's why you don't act like you don't spoil them. You tell them, listen, at a very young age, you tell them no. You constantly tell them no. What I always tell you about your youngest, I'm going to take him for a weekend. The first 3 days, all I'm going to tell him is no, no, no. So he gets a feeling for no. It's like, nah, you gotta tell your kids no and don't let them know you got money. Don't let anybody know you got money. It's your money. And I get it. Listen, I get it that you can't take it when you die. I'm not telling you to be greedy. I'm not telling you to be, materialistic. What I'm saying is just don't flash it. You have it, and then, when your time comes, you have a nice will written, and you leave it to them. And they're like, oh, shit, I didn't know he had this kind of money. Look at the surprise on their face when they see all that, right? They don't need to know because they're going to be murking you out of here, man. They're going to be murking you. The wife, listen, you let the wifey know. You let the wifey know that you got the money. She's going to be like, divorce, right? And if you let the kids know, they're going to be like, let's murk them. Look at these two.
Yep. So they were 18
murder.
and 21 at the time.
Yeah.
So they were a little older. They were 21 and 18.
But I tell you what, though, I would loosely make the movie based off of them because it scared the shit out of me when Lynn said they were like 12 and 13.
Right?
That's like that. Remember that Macaulay Culkin movie? Where he was like a really bad, I think it was called The Good Son. And it was ironic because he was such a bad kid. So that would be like scared the shit out of you.
But wasn't it two kids? Like the other one was like the adopted kid or something?
Yeah, and he was like the good one.
He was the good one, yeah. And the mom at the end had to
choose I think the real kid was the good one, and the adopted one was the bad one.
No, the real one was the bad one. That kid was evil, man. That kid was evil. I remember the end. The mom had to choose between saving her own son.
Yeah.
Who was evil.
Yeah,
and this boy that was really just, he was an innocent boy. Oh, man.
Yo, but I did that movie because remember, Macaulay Culkin was this, right, from Home Alone. And so you saw him in a certain way. When he did that movie, I was shook from Macaulay Culkin. I was like, damn, took it on another level. So like if I was the one to write the Menendez brother or loosely based on the Menendez brother and make this horror movie like Sacred Heart said, I would definitely age down the kids.
Yeah.
Because they were like 18, 21. I was like, all right, no. It was like 12, something demented when they're around that age. Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
Yo,
like, where do we go wrong?
These stories, right? Some of these stories were like, where like 2 8-year-olds like lured a 3-year-old into the woods to kill him.
Oh shit.
8-year-olds?
That's some demonic shit. That gotta be demonic. Man.
Yo, it was all between like 10 and 15. These kids. And I was just like, how?
Like,
most of them, it was their parents or their parents, like the whole family. They'll do like the parents and the siblings, like, whoo.
And then going back to the horror story idea, like I would have something where like, because they're, at that age, they're still small. So they could like go into cross spaces. So like you're a parent running and you hear them crawling through the like cross space. You're like, oh, not my kids. And it's like your kids and you still love them. So you're like, what are you? And they're like, God, no. Yo, that would be a great movie.
Your parents just getting beat.
Movie. Yeah.
In the basement. No. Jeez.
No, what was that one movie? I think it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Where not the recent one where they were getting old, but there was one where like the kids were sent to the grandparents and the grandparents were like this like they were just creepy. Like that movie messed with me. I was like, oh shit, I can't change this movie. Oh, that was a good one. Like listen, I know M. Night Shyamalan when his movies are up and down sometimes, but I love it. I love when he has that twist, or I love it when he really takes the time to write the movies. It's like, man.
Is it The Visit?
Yeah, I think it's The
I think I
Visit.
found
Yeah,
The Visit.
yeah, you should watch that one. Then. Especially going now into Halloween, you should definitely watch that one.
Oh, I'm definitely writing this down.
The Visit. Because that one was just like, no. You're right, the Visit, yeah.
With the kids or without them?
I think if you watch it with your kids, they're gonna tap out. I think one, they're gonna tap out, or two, they're gonna be scared of their grandparents.
Oh my god!
Which sucks because most of their grandparents has already passed. You know, rest in peace. They were beautiful people. They passed away, but yeah. So really, it's only our mom, and I don't want them scared of our mom. They should be scared of grandma for other reasons. Yeah, The Visit. I think you would be freaking freaked out by that movie. Like, oh, what the freak?
Maybe I won't finish it.
You won't finish it. You're gonna tap out.
Let's watch some cartoons, guys.
So going into
that's always the cure. Just watch some cartoons.
So going into Halloween, right? So man, October 1st is Saturday.
That's
this Saturday,
right there.
this weekend. Yep. That's crazy. Do you have any like Halloween traditions? I know you say hocus pocus. Do you have any other ones? Because when Christmas, like, I know when Christmas hits, when we go into December, one of my things that I like to do with my boys is like we're constantly watching Christmas movies. So we'll see like the Santa Claus. We'll watch the one where it's like what's it called? Where they're like, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. When he wanted the BB gun. We'll watch that one. We'll even watch freaking Die Hard movies because that takes place in Christmas. So it's a Christmas movie. Nobody can tell me it's not a Christmas movie. That's a Christmas movie. So we'll watch Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay! We'll watch, like that's our tradition when it comes around, you know, Christmas time. But I kind of want to do that with Halloween, you know? But I don't want to just do like scary ass movies. I want to do like the fun ones. Like, what's the one? Like Goosebumps and like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Like I want to do all of those. Like all those urban legends. Oh man, we were watching American Horror Stories on the other day. And once again, I watch these things and my kids walk in and they get caught up in the show. So we were watching the one, and you know that urban legend where the car comes behind you and it's flashing the lights because he sees the murderer in the back seat.
In the back seat, right.
And he was trying to save you. So it was like a spin on that, but it was like a completely different spin. I didn't see it coming. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. I was like, all right. Then they did another spin on like Bloody Mary and all that. So it was like, all right, okay.
Yeah, you know what? When it comes to like visuals, like I don't like watching horror, but I love reading it. I love hearing it, like audiobooks.
But when it
just reading, like the visual aspect, I'm like, too much.
reading it sounds like it'd be a lot worse though.
But it's your own imagination. It's
different. Like wouldn't that mess with you? Like wouldn't you start hearing something as you're reading the book?
No.
Especially if you're like by yourself, like you don't start hearing shit. Like what was that?
That doesn't happen.
Reading
chapter. You know what we do? We do a lot with decorations. You know, we always have a Halloween party. So we're trying to decide on like this year's theme. I'm pushing for vampires. You know.
Okay. All right.
We're just prepping for that. You know, I'm actually my invitations. They're supposed to be out already.
I got the theme. So, the kids, right? They really are into Demon Slayer. I don't know if you watch that cartoon. So we already got the costumes, and they're all the Slayers, right? The main characters. What if you, on your side, you guys are all the demons?
Oh, the demons?
Yeah, because I know there's one that's a vampire, so you could look up the demons, and then and then we come. Oh shit! There's the demons. We gotta slay them. Because I know you're gonna do your Halloween party like you do every year.
Yeah, of course. So vampires looks like what we're leaning into. I really wanted to do voodoo. I wanted to do like a New Orleans kind of.
No, don't mess with voodoo. That shit scared the shit out of me. Mom taught me at a very young age about voodoo because you know that's really Santeria, you know,
Mhm.
and being Hispanic in our culture, you know,
Yeah.
like voodoo and Santeria, they're pretty much like the same thing. They go like hand in hand. I think it's like a spin off of it. My mom was
Mhm.
telling me all the stories in Puerto Rico when they would do that stuff.
So
You know,
you don't want
freaking
to do
cutting off
voodoo?
chicken heads and all of that. No, don't fuck
We're
with
not gonna
voodoo.
be cutting
Voodoo,
actual chicken
listen,
heads off.
you mess with voodoo, voodoo messes back. So don't mess with voodoo. You mess with voodoo, you're gonna get a shrunken head. Don't mess with
Oh
voodoo.
my gosh.
I mean, I could go for a little shrinking on my head, but I don't want it to be like this, like Beetlejuice. You know what I love about Beetlejuice? That it's starting to trend now. Like we went to the costume store, right? The one that
Mhm.
where Toys R Us used to be. It's
Right.
now the costume store. And we went in and they have all the decorations. And I love going in because my youngest gets scared of everything. So we push it through all the stuff. And he's like, ah! But we
Oh
went through and
my
there's like a
God,
whole section for Beetlejuice.
my youngest was like walking through one of those little like
Yeah, and it
things
comes
that
out.
they make.
Ah!
Yeah, and so he decided to be a little brazen. He wanted to see what was inside the little girl's
No,
sack. So he goes and he's messing with it, and this thing starts
something
falling
pops out.
onto him.
Oh shit!
I ran. I tried helping, but I didn't help. It fell on him, freaked him out because he's like, "Holy shit! I went in the bag. I'm the
He
next
freaks
victim."
out. He freaks out so bad by all that stuff.
Oh,
So you
it's so
remember?
good.
You remember when we were younger? Ma used to take us to the city, not for Halloween, but it was for Christmas. And then one house had all the light up stuff, and everybody was
Mhm.
like, it was like the it thing to do.
Yeah, it's in Pelham Park.
Yeah, and people would just go, and it was all lit up and everything like that. Well, in my town, there's like a house like that, but it's for Halloween. And like
Stop.
the guy goes all out. I don't know if he's doing it anymore. You know, COVID and all that stuff,
Mhm.
everything kind of went to the wayside. But I remember it. We would go, and he would put you through a maze, and all the animatronics will come out and get you, and the
Mhm.
kids were scared to do it.
Oh, that's awesome though.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it
know
was
what?
really cool because
We have our like trick or treating route. You know, we
yeah,
do like the major roads in like 3 different towns.
and it was really dope too because it would start out in like his front deck. It would go to his not his front deck, his front lawn. And so you
Mhm.
go through the whole little maze. It would go up the stairs to his front deck, and then it
Mhm.
would go because his front deck would wrap around. So then it would
Hmm.
go wrapped around through all that, and then out his like
Side
backyard. And then
area.
his
Yeah.
backyard, like he was having almost like a little house party. And
Oh,
so
that's
all
so
the trick or
cool.
treaters would go, and then he was there with like his friends and everybody. So I don't
Mhm.
know if they're still doing that, but it's pretty cool. I like trick or treating in my town because they like the
Yeah.
fire department is giving out food. No, the church is giving out food. The fire department is doing like a little spooky house. Like they all get involved, and like you can go
I
all
like that
around the
too.
streets and all that.
When like the fire department's out there and they're giving
The
out candy,
church is out there,
it's
the
just,
fire
you know, they're
department,
showing that they are a part of the
part of
community.
the community, yes. And those are
Yeah.
the things that leaves lasting impressions, you know, not just for me for being happy that I pick a nice town to live in,
All right,
but
but for our
also
children.
for the children. Yeah, they have those
Mhm.
lasting memories, and I really like that because it takes having heart, you know, having that love for the community to want to
Mhm.
do that. And so like the church, like there's multiple churches that do that. There's like I remember one church we go to, they're giving out popcorn, they're giving out candy, they're giving out hot dogs. So we're
Mhm.
going out there, like I don't have to feed my kids, I just take them trick or treating. Don't have to feed them.
Right.
But yeah, no, I love that house because it was always like, yo, what's it? And decorations, and it just made the maze, and things will pop out at you. It's like a haunted house.
Mhm.
Remember the haunted house we went to
It's
at
coming. I
Six
love
Flags?
this time of the year.
You remember the haunted house we went to at Six Flags?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was the time when you rode your first roller coaster. So what was more scary, the haunted house or the roller coaster?
The roller coaster, hands down.
Definitely hands down, because the
Hands
haunted
down,
house was
roller
kind of
coaster.
you got creeped out by it. You took off
I
running, and then
did.
you left
I
your
did.
shoe behind.
Screamed.
And then
Ah!
I think you left your shoe behind, and Freddie had to like pick it up and give it to you. You
That
remember
was
that?
not me. That was
That
not
was
me.
you.
You're
That
look at
wasn't
you
you.
blending your
Blending
memories.
all my stories. Man. I thought that was you. I'm getting old. I thought that was you. That you lost your shoe, and Freddie had to pick it up and give it to you.
Nope. I remember hearing this story.
Actually, hold
This
up.
is from your
Hold up.
Virginia days.
Hold up. Because you
Mhm.
did come out saying that you have like no memories. Like you can't remember shit.
That's true. That is very
So
true. I
it
don't
might have
remember
been
much.
you. But I think you're right. I think it was my Virginia days. I think that
Yeah.
was in Virginia. Blending them all together. I remember there was one time though, and I don't know if I should tell this story, but I remember I went to a haunted house with a date,
Mhm.
and the chainsaw guy came out, and I was like, nope, and I took off running, and she got mad at me. She was like, you left me. That's all she kept saying the whole night. You left me. You left me. I was like, nope. And literally, you saw the smoke of, like, you know how the cartoons when somebody dips and they have the smoke of the person. That's all you saw of me. Like, she was trying to hold my hand, and it was just like I just disappeared because it was
It
just
just
smoke.
dissipated.
Yeah, it was just the outline of me. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I
We do
don't
a
do
lot of
well with
baking.
horror, man.
We did a lot of baking this time of the year. We've already put up like some of the big like
Yeah, Lynn gets the
air
inflatables.
filled. Yeah, we have like an air
Yeah, Lynn
filled
gets the
werewolf out
inflatables.
front, an air filled skeleton out front.
Actually,
We got some the
I love
pumpkin arch.
Halloween. I love October, but I love how you do it because you get super creative with it. Like you
Mm-hmm.
do like the different types of, like, you did the spider cookies, like the cookies that look like spiders and all that stuff. And it's like she gets really creative with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a spin off into Halloween. Yeah, I mean, listen, October's around the corner.
Yep.
This weekend. This weekend. Now the candy should be put out because I hate when the stores. But you see, now this weekend, guess what they're gonna start putting out? Turkey
Christmas.
decoration, Christmas
No,
decoration.
they're gonna skip
I'm like, we
Thanksgiving.
still haven't had
Christmas.
Halloween yet. Like, come on, man. Let's enjoy the holidays. But yeah, I have more fun in October, like going into October and all Halloween and all that stuff. Like I have more fun with that. And like with my kids, I was telling them like, look, listen, we bought your costumes. We got to find events for you to wear them. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm spending $50 for this costume and you're only gonna wear it one day.
I don't
Like,
think so.
no.
You're gonna wear it all
Like
month long.
I was gonna take them to New York Comic Con. Yeah. I was gonna take her to the New York Comic Con, and the tickets had sold out. So I was like, I was bummed about that because like you could dress it there for the New York Comic Con, and then we're gonna find another event. I was like, yo, I gotta get my money's worth off of these costumes.
Yeah.
There was one time where they were the Ghostbusters. I swear they wore that costume for like 5 years. But they wanted to do it. They were like, yeah, let's be the Ghostbusters again. Because every time they would walk around town, everybody was like, yo, the Ghostbusters. And then people start singing the songs and be like, yo, who are you gonna call? All that stuff. Like they would like they got that sense of fame from being the Ghostbusters. They loved it. So every year they wanted to keep being the Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool. I keep thinking about me just taking off. Oh yeah. Chainsaw guy. I was like, nope. Because it was right after they sent us into this like room because it was out in the woods. Mm-hmm. First off, and I don't like the woods. The woods are fucking creepy as fuck. But anyway, I was out in the woods and it was like this so it was like the hayride where they took you to the hayride and they were chasing after you, acting like they were getting you. And I was like, oh, this is nothing. All right, cool, whatever. But then they dropped you in the middle of the woods, and so you had to go through the woods, right? And of course, you saw the people in the woods, but they still wasn't coming at you. So it wasn't nothing like that. Like I was like, it didn't hit me until they made us go into this cabin, and the cabin was dark, pitch black dark. Okay. And so you had to feel the walls to get your way through the cabin and the maze that they had in the cabin. And as soon as you got out the one door, right, the door, and you got out of the cabin, that's where the dude with the chainsaw, you can hear, and that's when I took off. I was like, yo, fight or flight. I was like, I'm out. And she was just so mad at me. She was like, you left me.
That's so mean. So the kids and I have started doing like fall crafts. That's something else we do this time of the year. Nice. So we actually said we have to go over to your house because you have a lot of pine cones in your backyard.
Okay.
So we have to come grab some pine cones for some craft.
Okay. All right. When you coming over? When are you coming over?
Soon.
Yeah, it just hit though. Like it was like nice 70-degree weather, and then all of a sudden it's like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
And
I'm
in
gonna
the
have to pop out a
morning,
tent soon,
yep,
so
in
you
the
guys can
mornings
be all
when
nice
people
and
are
warm in
like
it.
heading out to like grab the bus, the temperatures are low.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Like,
you sure you want your
man, I can't
coats
do
yet,
this anymore.
guys? Like, it's
Listen, I'm
nippy
on
out
a
there.
5-year plan, and after the next 5 years, I'm moving to Tampa.
Hmm.
I'm moving to Tampa. I'm done. I can't deal with this shit no more. I told my kids too. I was like, "You're all adults. I'm gonna sell the house. If you want to live with me, come live with me. If not,
Uh-huh.
you want to be with your mama. All right, fine. Be with your mama. I'm tapping out. I need a life. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I think that's gonna be my midlife crisis. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Going to Tampa.
Yep. You coming?
I might.
Sell your house and you move to Tampa
No,
too?
man. Being in that Airbnb that I rented out in, it was in Kissimmee. So it wasn't Orlando, but it was the outskirts of Orlando.
Have you been to Tampa?
I have not been to Tampa. But being out that way, I was just like, oh, I could get used to this. I could live out here.
Yeah. I feel like Tampa it has the up and comings to be like the next Miami.
Hmm.
Like it still has that social life. It's still by water, but it's on the other side. It's on the Gulf side,
Hmm.
so it doesn't really get hit by hurricanes that much, right? Though this hurricane is kind of coming weird. It's kind of coming on the like the
From the
left
Gulf.
tip of Florida. Yeah, from the
Yeah.
Gulf. It's not even gonna hit Miami. Normally it
Right.
hits Miami and it goes that way because it's coming out from the outside, but this
Hmm.
one's coming up and in. I heard last night they got hit with like high winds, rain, and stuff like that, which is really what they ever get hit with in Tampa.
Hmm.
So I'm like, Tampa sounds like where I'm moving to
Nice.
when I have my midlife crisis. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm calling it because I'm like, listen, you guys are old enough. I stuck around in the middle of the woods to raise you boys. I'm out of here. But anywho, Lynn, do you have
Ooh,
anything else
I
that
don't
you
know.
want to
I
talk
keep
about?
yawning. I guess I need a nap. Is what I
You didn't get
need.
enough sleep. You didn't get enough sleep.
I was up early.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you were planning on going to the city. You should have
Yeah.
went. You should have took that trip. You should have went into the city.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I got to Maz and she wasn't even ready. She was like, "Oh,
Would
we're
have
not
been cool.
going."
You would have been mobile. Would have been like, oh shit, what is it? And you could have done full screen and showing us everything that's going on in the city.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool. You should have went into it. And when we say the city, by the way, is New York City. So
New
Lynn
York.
was on her way to New York City, and you said our uncle went to what? The Freedom Tower,
Yeah, the is that what it's
downtown
called? The
Freedom
Freedom
Tower. You
Tower?
could have showed all that and all that. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Mhm. Our uncle, a veteran, is visiting from Florida. Actually, he's in the area just until tomorrow. So he was like, "Hey, come see me while I'm
I gotta
here."
celebrate. The
That was
time
like,
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 since we've been live. That was kind of
"Hey."
cool. Did you see that?
I missed it. By the time I looked, it was 4-9.
I forgot where I was because we're always been like I've been put on to like watching your numbers, a sequence of numbers, angel numbers and all of that.
Mhm.
But I kind of got my kids into thinking that way, and I forgot where we were. I think we were in Urban Air, and it was 12:34, but they also have the second countdown. So we were just standing there waiting, and then when it did, we were like all loud. Everybody in the place was like looking at us like, "What is wrong with you?" Because we're like, "Yeah!" We cheered because it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So
Right.
they're like, "Yeah, you don't ever get to see that." So we're like, "Oh, we're celebrating," but it was actually kind of cool because what was it? Yesterday, I ran to the store with them, and our receipt came out till 12:34, one two
Hmm.
thirty four, right? And then my youngest was doing a math problem, and the numbers were reversed, so it was 4, 3, 2, 1. So it was like, oh, mirror numbers. So it was like he's been seeing that lately, and so I think there was one time where we paused a show or movie or something like that, and the time sequence was like 34:43 or something like that. And he was like, Daddy, those are mirror numbers. I was like, all right, let's look it up. So we looked it up and it said something. And he was like, so happy that he saw it and he gave him, inspirational message. But if you ever look up any of the numbers, it's supposed to be like your angel numbers. So you do angel numbers and then the numbers, right? And
Hmm.
it tells you like what it is, like keep at it, you're on the right track, or, you're making progress and a goal that you're trying to achieve or something like that. So yeah, he's constantly looking at it. He's like, Daddy, you gotta look it up. What does that mean? What does that
Yeah.
mean? So
Usually what I see are the consecutive numbers, like 1111 or
222
right.
or 1 2 3 4. Yeah. But
The
yeah,
numbers.
no.
You're the one who put
That
me onto the numbers. Then I started
oh
kind of like watching it.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I have recently come into some like astrology books.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that actually I bought these years ago. Like I don't even remember if I had kids back when I bought these books, and I finally like my friend had them for years. So I finally like had my hands on them and I'm like flipping through, and I found out that like my life number is 21.
Okay.
And I'm
So it'd
sorry,
be
it's 23.
21,
23.
23. All right, but then it would also be the mirror number of 23. So it'd be 32. So you got to
Mm.
look for both of those.
See, I didn't know that.
And if
But
you ever see a sequence where it's 23, 32, then at that moment, like let's say you're watching something and you stop it, and that's the time that, and you see that number
mhm,
in a not a traditional sense because you're not going to see it in time, right? Because it's
right,
23 unless you're, military time. But if you see it in like when you stop on a movie or something like that, at that moment you should take, because what it is, it's supposed to be, if you're, spiritual about it, it's supposed to be like your guardian angels are kind of like letting
they're
you
guiding
know.
you.
They're
Hmm.
guiding you. So when you see those numbers, you're supposed to look them up, see what it means. And then also, if there's something in your thought, in your mind at that moment, right? They're kind of talking to you like, hey, you're going to get through this, or hey, you're on the right path, or something like that.
Hmm.
And I actually, I have a friend who put me onto that. And he was like, it was like, it was that, I keep saying it was that point in my time where I was like, yo, I can't do the repetitive of life anymore. Like
Hmm.
I was checked out. Not that I was depressed or anything like that. I was just checked out because I was like, what's the meaning of it all? Right? It's like I keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And he was like, you got to elevate yourself. And that's where I started going on that spiritual journey where I started tapping into, the signs of the universe, right?
Hmm.
And it was like, oh, what's the saying? Your thoughts.
Your thoughts,
Yeah.
yeah, your
Go ahead, go
thoughts
ahead.
create your feelings create your actions create your results.
Right, and then what's the other one? Where is it? Think it into existence, right?
Hmm.
And so that's where I started
You have
watching
to
The
speak it into
Secret.
existence.
Yeah, speak it to existence. Then, have
Mhm.
you watched The Secret yet?
I still haven't watched The Secret.
Put that down. That's something else
Okay.
you gotta watch. Put that one down. The Secret, and I think that might be on Amazon Prime or something like that. But that's the whole belief that you know. What you ask for, the universe will provide, right?
Hmm.
And so I started like at first I was like very skeptic about it, right? I'm an analytical person. For me to think that way, like no, you got to work for it. No, you got to do this and this. And then I started analyzing my life and realizing that everything I've done, it wasn't by me or by my choice. It was kind of like the universe put that step there. That
Hmm.
like with what was it? I joined the military because I saw an ad for some free dog tags. And so
Right.
I filled out the form. I was like, yeah, I want some dog tags. And then the recruiter came at the door. I was like, yo, I'm here to talk to you about the Marines. I was like, and so because I had no guidance, I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then that opened up what the next door, which was, getting a clearance, using
Hmm.
that clearance to get into IT, doing all this. Like you could see the steps. And it was just like I thought it was by chance, but really that's what the universe guiding me to what I had to do.
Right.
So, now that I'm on that whole spirituality and that whole spiritual journey, and like I said, I keep saying, I'm not religious. I understand, like we were raised, with Christianity. My mom is super religion when it comes to Christianity. So I know all the stories, I know, about the Bible and all that stuff. But like I correlate it when I see the things that I see, I correlate how she believes. And so, like, I do believe everybody, we all have positive energies, we all have negative energies.
Hmm.
And of course, in the Bible, that's good versus evil, right? So you could think of it a certain way. Like if you stay positive, positive energy, you're going to attract positive things, right?
Yeah.
If you stay negative, negative energy, you're going to attract negative energy. That's why people are like, oh, I don't believe in karma because look at all these rich people that are doing evil things. It's like, no, I believe it. Those evil things are coming back to them because it's negative energy. It's just that are they so far gone that they don't even care?
Hmm.
Because I'm a firm believer, and we've witnessed this where somebody put evil, negative energy in life, and when it came back, it didn't come to them directly. It came back to the ones they love.
Right.
And so, do they even care that people that they love are passing away, are getting
Mhm.
sick because of their negative energy? They might not, because they're so far gone. So we can't just say like, oh, evil people are doing evil things and karma doesn't happen. I believe it does. I believe they just don't care.
Mhm.
So sorry, I went on another rant.
Yeah, you
Go
did.
ahead, because I
That
know I
was a
said
good
a lot.
one,
I said a
though.
lot. I said a lot. Because I get inspired when we start talking about the numbers and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
all, like I want people out here to just know that like we're not here by chance. You know, we chose to do this, right? Our souls chose to live this life, and everything you
Mhm.
want, you could do it if you just keep that right mindset. Get out of your way, especially on International Podcast Day, right? People want to start a podcast. What's the first thing they do? They're going to have that doubt. So when they
Mhm.
start having that positive energy and believe that this is their calling, that the universe is going to provide for them, look it, we're going to inspire some international, the next best podcast right now.
Yeah.
We're inspiring. Sacred Heart, is that you? I know you still watching Sacred Heart. You ready to write? You ready to create the bestseller podcast? Come on.
Mhm. And there are just so many opportunities on the internet, man. Like the internet
Yes.
has really just created different like platforms for us to express
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and utilize our voice. And I just feel
Yes.
we become just part of the whisper in the background, our
Mm-hmm.
our thoughts, our ideas, it becomes part of the
We
whisper
do.
because we're so
We do.
worried
We hold
about
ourselves
like
down.
dealing with whatever, issue is facing us today. So it's kind of nice to have something where we can, express ourselves and have kind of like that free thought. Um,
Agreed enough.
it's go ahead.
Go
What
ahead.
were you gonna
Go ahead.
say?
No, I was gonna get because I saw you lost your train of thoughts. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I
a great
did.
analogy is if you think about taking an inflatable ball, right? Taking it
Mhm.
into a pool. And if you have that negative energy, you're holding that ball down, right? You're holding that ball down under the water. But as far as you keep going down under that water, right? If you just flip your mindset and you start thinking positive and you let go of that ball, what is that ball going to do? It's going to shoot up, right? It's going
Right
to
to the
go
top.
flying in the air. And that's the
Yep.
power of positivity. And this is what people don't want to believe because
Mhm.
they're so caught up in the negativity, especially with the news and the media and everywhere, right? This day and age, listen, we're dealing with inflation, we're dealing with all this stuff. It's negativity all around us, right? We're on the
Mhm.
verge of like World War III, right? But I do believe that we could turn that all around if just each one of us just start being a little more positive and change that outlook. Because if we're not listening, if we're going, no, 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 I'm not listening, that negative energy has nowhere to go.
Right.
And I guarantee we can dissolve all that stuff because then we start doing what we start doing. We're positive. We're like, all right, I want to help my fellow man. Next thing you know, we're building up a community. And
Mhm.
now that's one of those. That is the weak point for any government. It's strong communities because it's
Mhm.
like they don't need us. And then when we don't need them, guess what? They're stupid wars. They're not gonna have them because ain't nobody gonna join up. They ain't nobody gonna fight them.
Right.
So I strongly do believe that we could turn this whole thing around if we just change it up in here and change the energy that's flowing all around.
Mhm.
But it takes work. It takes work. Listen, I was a big skeptic. I was a really
And
big
honestly,
skeptic.
positive energy is so contagious.
It
It
is,
only takes a little bit.
and we've
Smile
seen
is
it.
contagious. When you see
We've
people
seen
laughing, you
it.
want to laugh. Mm-hmm.
Remember
Positive
when we
energy is so
went to your
contagious.
your job's Halloween party
Mm-hmm.
and how we were just the it of the party, right? And
Yep.
people were just looking at them like these two are crazy. But what we were
Mm-hmm.
doing, we were just throwing that positivity everywhere, right? Before
Yep.
you knew it, everybody came out and was like, yo, and we turned that party up, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I've seen it so many times, especially when you go to those clubs, how people are just worried about like everybody in the
They're
clubs
so
is
worried about
nervous.
how they're going
Everybody's
to be
scared of their
perceived.
appearance and how they're going to be
Um,
perceived, right? But when you walk in and you show like, I don't care, I'm here to have a good time. That's
mm-hmm.
when people start letting go of that and they start having a good time. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like once you throw your positivity out, it's listen, negativity is very contagious, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
People can walk around negative and everybody gets into that negative vibe. But positivity is a lot stronger. It's just as contagious. So
Mm-hmm.
you come out there and you just throw your positivity, and people are like, how's this guy having a good time? There's inflation. Gas prices are high. Why is this guy still smiling? And then you keep doing it, and they're like, wait a minute. Oh, he's funny. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the next thing you know, they forget about all that stuff. They become present in the moment. And then they start having fun. And then that's when you realize, hey, yo, all that shit don't matter. All that
Mm-hmm.
noise don't matter. I just am having a good time. I'm having fun. And I love doing that. I love going out. This is why every time I go out, sorry, excuse me. The last time me and Lynn we went to a brunch, and I was asked, they were like, "Oh, you don't get out much, huh? Because you're just having fun." And I was like, "Nah, I just love life. I'm here. I'm gonna have a good time." And so
Yeah.
me and Lynn, we get turned. Remember, we were just walking around. The guy was with the drum, and then you started dancing with some random chicks.
Yep. No, I got up in the VIP
Yeah,
area.
we
I
were
was
just
up on
having
the
fun.
the couches.
And
Yep.
that's what I wish for everybody, because you look, we could sit and we can just, you know, delve into the stuff that, yeah, life sucks. I get it. But what's gonna define your life? You complaining and you living in that negativity all your time and then you die? That's it? Or are you gonna be positive, know you have a happy soul, live your life being happy, partying, enjoying it all, and then when you die, you know your soul keeps going on. See, that's the different perspective of positivity and negativity. Because the people who are super negative, they even die. They're like, oh, when I die, I'm just gonna be in a hole. I'm gonna be in the ground. I'm just gonna be in darkness and just be in a hole somewhere. That's that negativity. And trust me, I was there. For the longest time, I went against mom's religion. I was like, I think for a while I was an atheist. I didn't believe in none of that. But then
Mhm.
I was like, there got to be something more. And that's where that negativity leads you, to the point where you're just like, what's the point of all this? Why am I here? I was born. I'm living a life. I'm doing the redundant same old, same old, same old. And then I die and I'm gonna be in darkness. Or you flip it and you're like, yo, I was here for a reason.
Right.
We one of the ones, right? We one of the ones. What am I here for? Who one of the ones? Let's do this, right?
Yeah.
And you change it up. You change it up. So I'm hoping we're doing this. I'm hoping we're doing this. That's why I love
We
coming out to
are.
the
We
show.
so
I'm
are.
hoping that we're doing this because we just got to find that trend. Because listen, I get it. There's a lot of negativity, but I really do feel like we're gonna be held down, and then all of a sudden, poof, like a ball under the water, man. And then we're gonna blow up, and I'm gonna be like, damn, I want to help everybody. This is one of my biggest fears, is seeing the chat just going crazy, and we can't get to everybody's chat.
Right.
That's gonna kill me, man. That's gonna kill me, man. But it is what it is. We gotta keep pushing forward. Be consistent.
Mm-hmm. And when we
So
get there, we'll find ways around it. Like we could always do, like reaction videos to our chats where we're just, posting an after video
yeah,
of
that was the
us going
intro.
back and reading through chats
Yeah, Lynn did
after
that. Lynn
the,
did that with the intro, and that's mad inspiring. I know
right,
you laugh at me every time because I'm all dancing with the intro, but it's mad inspiring.
right,
With the catchy little jingle, it reminds me of like old time sitcoms from like the '80s, to like just the comments and our faces and just us being happy and doing this. Like that inspires me, because I'm human. There's times where there's stuff going on in my life, and I'm
mm-hmm.
like, oh, I don't really want to do this. Excuse me, but by the end of it, I'm glad I did. Like right now, this is like mad inspiring right now. Just doing this fun stuff, seeing new names on the chat. Like, oh man, we're
Mm-hmm.
trending. Somehow we're trending.
Yeah.
So this is what I put out there, and I'm like, guys, just change your mindset. Don't be your biggest critic. Don't hold yourself down. Know that you were meant to do something great here, right? And maybe this is our calling. Maybe our calling is something else, man. How many ideas me and my sister came up with, that my mother to this day is like, y'all two, man. Y'all two always coming up with crazy hair-breed ideas, man. We're gonna Scooby-Doo the hell out of this shit one day.
Yep.
Oh, what's some of the ideas we came up with?
Well, we did the podcast. We were on Anchor.
Yeah,
We
we
did
were
the
on
actual
Anchor. No, but
podcast.
way before that, what we had? We had the LLC, right? And we're
Yeah.
gonna be a real estate thing. And then before that, what else we were doing?
It was real estate. It was real estate management.
Yeah, then we were
Property
doing
management.
something
Property
else.
management.
Yeah,
There
and
it
then
was.
we were doing something else. Like my always sees us. Like we always come up with ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and then something's got to stick. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Don't give it. Listen, you could say, "Man, I quit all this stuff," and look at that in a negative perspective, or you could just look at it and be like, "Man, I got some tenacity that I keep bringing stuff up. I just gotta
Trying.
follow through. That's it." So this has been the longest one so far. There's some consistency here. But we did take like a year break, so we got to throw that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But I think we're coming up on a year that we've been doing it consistently. That's pretty cool.
Has it? Has it really? Man, that year went by quick.
Yeah, it did.
Man, I just listen. We blow up, we don't. I love doing this. I gotta give us an applause for being this consistent and still staying on here. It's like, man, it's like second nature now. All right. With that said, if we don't have any more comments, we're coming up to the top of the second hour, Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything you want to say? I know I've been ranting for a minute.
No, but I'm going to replay our intro. Yeah, I'm going to replay our
Just
intro.
to advertise us. Hey, it's International Podcast Day.
Yeah,
I know we're not a podcast yet, but we're still a live show. So thank you for watching. Thank you for coming. Sacred Heart, thank you so much. Tadashi, thank you so much for just posting stuff, giving us, feeding off of that positive vibe that we've been talking about. You guys come over that positivity. Oh, good show. Thank you, Sacred Heart. I knew you were still watching. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. And I hope you subscribe. I hope you liked it. I hope you follow with us. I hope you rock with us. Just check in. Just say, yo, what's up? Hello, I'm still here. You guys are still going good. We have a lot of people that we know by name, like Drunk, Fuzz, Tadashi. Who else? I want to give out a shout out. Lynn, who else? Trist.
That's what I was gonna say.
Trist, yeah. These guys,
Sarah.
like I said, they're not. Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, you guys are.
Jenny
You don't watch us all the
on.
time, but you come on and you show love. Even our mom. Our mom provides comments.
Mm-hmm. Yo, Ma got on me this morning. She's like, "You guys missed my comments the other day." I was like, "What do you mean?" I had no idea. I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Wait, was it when like all the comments were coming in?" She was like, "Yeah, there were a lot of comments that day."
Oh, Tris was shadow watching. He was like, "Thanks for the shout out." Listen. I say thank you, and I'm genuine with it. I'm constantly trying to remember guys' names and all that stuff because you guys, you don't know how much it helps to just see those comments come in as we're doing this live. Because without that, all I'm doing, I mean, granted, I'm talking to my sister, which is always great, just sitting here. As you can see, we have great chemistry. But it just shows us we're on that right path, Mm-hmm. So seeing you guys, and so that's why I shout out, throw it out, because, hey, you guys are the other half of this show. We're at one half, and you guys are the other half. So thank you for so much. It means a lot. And as we keep, growing, I hope you guys keep watching. I know a lot of Drunk was like, man, this is the first time I saw you from beginning to end. I was like, yo, it doesn't matter. Like you just coming in for 10 minutes and saying what's up and providing something that we can feed off of means a lot. A lot. I don't know how you feel about it, but it means a lot to me. I know Lynn's getting matches over here. Lynn's gonna be like, man, because of that show, I met my husband and now I'm happily married.
Fast forward 30 years, like, oh yeah, I've been married 25 years.
The show never went anywhere, but Lynn got a great marriage. No, but I thank you guys. Thank you so much. It really means a lot, and this is why I keep shouting you guys out and saying thank you because I'm humbled by it. I'm very humbled by it. So, and it's gonna break my heart if we ever do make it big. That it's like, but I gotta remember you guys. You know what? A lot of you guys that be shadow watching and are still here. We'll probably have you mods in the chat room for the trolls, but we haven't really gotten trolls, Lynn. Like, where are the trolls? I was ready for them.
They're out there. They're out there. Do not call them this way.
Yeah. I'm like, where are the trolls, man? I'm like waiting for them. Because I'm old school. I'm all from the part where like you make fun of me, I can make fun of you. Like that's how we vibe, and that's how and I think we had a couple of trolls like that where they were coming on with stupid stuff, and like we called them out, and then they started talking, and the next thing you know, they were bringing insight. And then they were watching, and it was like, oh shit, we turned a troll into a fan. Yeah, all right, cool. So I'm waiting for them. When they coming? Oh man.
All right, guys, stand by. I'm gonna re-roll the intro.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right, guys.
It was lagging on my end. Was it lagging on your end?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. All right. As long as it came on YouTube, fine. I was like, man, this is like lagging. What are we doing?
All right, guys. Thank you so much for another great episode. Thank you for rocking with us. And yeah, as you saw through our trailer, like on this channel, we just aim to be givers. We're givers of love, we're givers of good vibes, and we're givers of strength through conversation. So make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss an episode. And come chat with us. Give us something to talk about.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. And I love you all. I love you all. I love you all.